Where should I look, everyone? Look, I can, right here? Right here? Okay. Surveying the landscape of Grand Bahama, and in particular the city of Freeport, one would see the evidence of economic decline in Grand Bahama. To the north, south, east, and west, there are closed and abandoned buildings in every direction. Closed businesses, closed shopping centers, closed hotels, abandoned apartments and homes. Further, the economy of Grand Bahama was dealt a major blow when Hurricane Dorian, the most destructive storm in the history of the Bahamas, hit both Abaco and Grand Bahama. Today, most people in Grand Bahama still are in recovery from Dorian. Just 6 months after the passing of Hurricane Dorian, the Bahamas was impacted by the global coronavirus pandemic, which we are still in today. The economic and social condition of Grand Bahama is the worst it has ever been. The people are currently burdened with increases in prices at the stores, for services and taxes. The unemployment on Grand Bahama, we believe, is just under 50%. It is in the backdrop of these facts that any proposal for the increase in electricity rates is unacceptable and should be rejected by the people of Grand Bahama. The Coalition of Concerned Citizens, which is a voice for the people and businesses of Grand Bahama, have been advocating for years for electricity costs to be lowered on the island. Since Emera took control of the Grand Bahama Power Company, this island has been afflicted with excessive electricity rates, and the economic fallout can be seen everywhere. In 2015, the CCC vigorously opposed the 2015 rate application of the Emera Grand Bahama Power Company. Despite the overwhelming opposition from the residents, the business sector, and the hotels, the rate application to increase electricity was approved. Since that time, Emera forced minority Bahamian shareholders to sell their shares to the company. Thus, the Emera Grand Bahama Power Company has become a 100% owned foreign company. No, I repeat, no utility company in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas should be owned by a 100% foreign company. As we did in 2015, the CCC will mount an intense opposition to the Emera Grand Bahama Power Company present rate application. For far too long, our people have had to suffer to the predatory, profit-driven operation of this power company. What Grand Bahama needs is economic revival, not economic oppression. The CCC commends Prime Minister Philip Davis, Minister Ginger Moxie, and along with the government of the Bahamas for clearly stating that the government will not support any increase of electricity rates anywhere on Grand Bahama Island. The CCC will host a virtual town meeting on Thursday, November 11th, 2021 at 7 p.m. via Zoom and Facebook Live. The town meeting will address the issues relative to the rate application, and citizens will find out what we are going to do moving forward to show our opposition and to oppose and to fight this rate application. The public can join the town meeting by Zoom ID 878-0234-2869, and they can join by Facebook Live on the Facebook pages for the Coalition of Concerned Citizens and lower the cost of Power Grand Bahama. For more information, you can contact 646-9494. United together, God will give us the victory. Any questions? And then my wife will speak, and then we have Rudy Stubbs. Okay. Let Rudy speak first. Rudy, I can put these two on you. Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Rudolph Stubbs, member of the Coalition of Concerned Citizens here on Grand Bahama, a trade union activist, and a fighter for the people of Grand Bahama. I have been on this island for over 30 years, and what concerns me most is that when you look around, there's so much depression and oppression. It is sad. It is very, very sad. When I look at a notification from the Grand Bahama Power Company saying that my bill was $212, and I went there on Tuesday and I had a hike of an additional $5, and I paid $217.30. And I questioned it. I wondered why. And they tell me, sir, that's your bill. And I still question it today, because it appears as if the Grand Bahama Power Company and its regulators are imposing additional funds upon the bills, the electricity bills of the citizens here on Grand Bahama. Now we know that the government had given Emera power from East Grand Bahama, McLeanstown, all the way to West End for the service of power to the people. But I say the Grand Bahama Power Company is a licensee of the Port Authority. The extension of the Port Authority should not reach into those other areas that is government owned. And so the government of today needs to work feverishly to fix that. I'm sure that they can put legislation and laws in place to fix the adversity that is happening against the Bahamian people here on Grand Bahama. We don't have the kind of employment that we used to have. We don't have the kind of security in employment that we used to have. If you look at the industrial park, there's a lot of casual workers in the industrial park. That means men and women of today do not have the status or stability. They cannot provide properly for their family. They cannot own homes. It is so sad. They cannot even be an investor into their own country. So we got to look at this thing from a national perspective. We see where around the world, internationally and nationally, that people are fighting for their rights. So why can't we as the citizens here on Grand Bahama fight for our rights? It is time that we stand up, Grand Bahama. We are calling upon you. It cannot be just a few of us fighting this battle for all of us. And so we got to stand together from East Grand Bahama to all the way to West Grand Bahama. And so I say, united we stand, divided we fall. It is time now that we make sure that we get what is due to us. Other than that, our children and our grandchildren will perish. Thank you so much.
Very, very good. Amen. That's very good. Going some more?
Sorry?
Good, right there. That's good.
Margot Victor, member of the Coalition of Concerned Citizens. Just about a year ago, September 2020, the Grand Bahama Port Authority introduced a working committee for Freeport revitalization and economic expansion. This committee was created as an action plan for the stability and long-term growth of the Grand Bahama economy. Grand Bahama Port Authority, who is the regulator? Now the Port Authority is, I need to start that over. What happened?
Much emphasis on the regulator.
Since the Reef Committee has been established, it's important that there is consistency among the leaders in the community. We need serious collaboration. We need the Reef Committee to be in collaboration with the government, the now government of the Bahamas, to be in collaboration with the power company to bring down electricity so that there is economic growth on this island. We need collaboration with the churches, collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce. Everyone needs to get on board, and we need to do serious business, or this island will not thrive. We will not go forward. We need to stop talking, stop playing games with lives. We have a Reef Committee. Let's get to work and put our ideas together. Let's put the strategies together. Coalition of Concerned Citizens, we are contributing by saying, number one, the power company needs to re-look at their strategy to increase power. This cannot continue because businesses cannot thrive. Families cannot thrive if the power is going to continue to go up. Many years ago, there was a cost of living increase that was included yearly with salary increases. That has not happened in decades. So while prices continue to escalate in terms of utilities, food, fuel, the masses, the populace is not receiving an increase. It does not make sense. The economy will not grow if the populace, if the masses are not given the tools or the ability to thrive economically. So generally, there needs to be an overall revitalization. Every sector of society needs to be revitalized. And yes, I do believe it begins with the power company demonstrating much more conscience for the people on Grand Bahama Island. It does not need to reconsider the upgrade to power prices, but it also needs to go back and refund for the injustices that have already been done to the people on Grand Bahama Island. We're working with all stakeholders here. We want to work together because we're all in this boat together. We want to live on this island. We want others to move to this island. We want businesses to grow on this island. And so we need to work together. All stakeholders come together. Let's collaborate. Let's do real business and turn Grand Bahama around.
That's very good. Shanda Khan, you want to say something? You sure? Okay. Hold this for me, baby. Yeah, baby.
Nobody feeling like that.
Check the Facebook, Joe. It's going okay? Okay, any questions?
So, has there been any response from the Grand Bahama Power Company to the coalition previously or in this latest iteration of its challenge to them? Have they come to the table at all?
That's a very good question. There was one time when we protested the power company, and I believe this would have been in 2014. This was 2014. We held our first demonstration of the power company, and at the end of that demonstration, we got a call from the then Minister of Grand Bahama, Dr. Michael Darville, who asked if we would come to what would be called a roundtable meeting with the Grand Bahama Power Company and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. That we had 2 meetings together, the government hosting the meeting, and after the second meeting, the power company withdrew, saying that they did not see these meetings as being fruitful at all. And so that's the extent of where we actually sat at the table. I also, this would have been probably a year ago, was invited to a Zoom meeting that was taking place with the then CEO of the power company. And in that meeting, we were pretty much discussing basically the situation of the electricity on the island. But I'm going to say that in that meeting, what I brought up was that the power company is a licensee of the government of the Bahamas. And that power company filed a Supreme Court action basically challenging IRCA's right to regulate them. Here's the facts. The Grand Bahama Power Company has never accepted a license from IRCA. When the Electricity Act was established and it was passed in 2015, 2 companies were given automatic license: the Bahamas Power and Light and the Grand Bahama Power Company. The Grand Bahama Power Company did not accept the license. And not only did they not accept the license, as I stated earlier, they filed a Supreme Court action challenging IRCA's right to regulate them. So I want you to see the scenario here. You are a Bahamian licensed company in the Bahamas, and you are challenging the government, which is the authority, that you do not want to accept their chosen regulator to regulate them. To me, that's a big problem. And the problem is that we have a 100% owned foreign company that is generating profits, and most of the profits are going out of the country. And you have to consider things like national security when it comes to electricity. If this foreign company decides that they want to shut down the power company, then they threaten the sovereignty of the Bahamas. That's why it can never be owned 100% by a foreign company. This same company shut down the Ministry of Education schools on one day, cut off the power. In one day. From West End to East End, they cut off the power.
That's right.
That should have never happened. Not in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And some would say, well, the government should have paid their bill. I agree, the government should pay their bill. But they're still the government of the Bahamas. Every entity should be working with the government. Even if the government is having challenges, we should work, because that's our government. Not only is that our government, the government represents the people of the Bahamas. So when you do actions that come against the government, you're coming against the people. And we see that in the practices of this power company, that they're not people driven, they are profit driven. And we don't need that anymore in Grand Bahama.
And so do you think, and this will be the last one for me, do you think this is in order to be truly efficient in this conversation, do you think that also on the table needs to be the discussion about the relationship currently, or the current agreement in place between the government and the Port Authority in relation to the power company? Do you think that this can't be resolved just with a conversation with the power company?
Well, there's been a lot of conversation going on for a while. And this is important for everyone to know, because you have a younger generation that says, why don't you just talk to them? They've talked to me. And I had to educate them. I said, we've been talking, but we're not getting anywhere. Because what happens is, and this happens in many countries, when you have a company that has become powerful and strategically positioned in your country, they believe that they can dictate the terms and not the government. And so, as I stated earlier about the Supreme Court action, the mere fact that they could take an action that involves the government of the Bahamas tells you a lot about the company themselves. And so, what we are so pleased to know, though, it has already been reported in the news that a cabinet committee has been formed. If I recall, as a cabinet committee, it has the Attorney General, Minister Ginger Moxie, Minister Michael Darville, I believe it's Minister Obi Wilshcombe is also on that committee. And so they are now looking at this situation, and they also stated that they will be meeting with the power company within 2 weeks. So let's see what those discussions will produce. But one thing for sure, we cannot let the electricity rate go up on this island. In fact, we need to have a situation where the power company is giving us a rate application, bringing the rates down. We need the rates to come down. And let me say this, and I really mean this. If the power company cannot bring the rates down, then the power company needs to move out the way, let a power company come into our island. That will bring the rates down and work with our government. Any other questions? Did we cover everything, everyone? Okay. Thank you so much. And we're probably going to take a photograph. We need to take a photograph together, I guess. Joel, make sure we take a photograph.
Turned off live.
You could turn it off now.